Okay, so this is considered, he is considered the father of modern architecture in Bangladesh, a very important cultural figure and professional figure in Bangladesh, and he's revered by many, by young architects, and generally he was the one who brought modern architecture to Bangladesh, and he was the one who invited Louis Kahn to build what he built in Dhaka, those important buildings by Louis Kahn. He invited other architects as well, Stanley Tigerman, not that he, in my opinion, is so important, but he was one of the Chicago 5, 7 actually, and Richard Neutra and others. This is the man, and he does look, in my opinion, like a serious and sensitive man. Of course, he has a certain age here, but I don't know. Maybe I am a little bit superficial, but I think you can evaluate a man sometimes, although appearances could be misleading. But I do think he's I don't know, a man you can trust. Here you see in this picture Doshi, of whom I said a few things before. In the middle, he is Doshi, and the architect who worked for both Le Corbusier and Louis Kahn when he was very young. He didn't study architecture, so he didn't have any diploma, but he received the Pritzker Prize, and he built some very interesting works. And on the right is also an important Indian architect. Unfortunately, although he is important, I didn't memorize his name. And on the left is Islam. So Muzharul Islam was a Bangladeshi architect, urban planner, educator, and activist. I like this fact, you see, he was an architect, he was an urban planner, he was an educator, but he was also an activist. That is, he fought for, he had social concerns, and I think ideally we should try to do the same, because we are not just making buildings. An architect generally was a cultural figure that transcended strict limitations. He is considered as the grandmaster of regional modernism in South Asia. Sorry about that, by whom I should have erased it, is from Wikipedia. But interestingly, you see the words regional modernism. This sounds like regional critical regionalism. Regional modernism, indeed, it is a regional architecture, but it is a modern architecture, and thus almost implicitly, it has a critical dimension. Islam is the pioneer of modern architecture in Bangladesh and the father of Bengali modernism. Islam's style and influence dominated the architectural scene in the country during the 1960s and 70s, along with major US architects he brought to work in Dhaka. As a teacher, sorry again about by whom architects, social and political activists, Islam set the course of architectural practice in the country, not only through his own many varied works, but also through being instrumental in inviting architects, sorry about citation needed, like Louis Kahn, Richard Neutra, Stanley Tigerman, Paul Rudolph, Robert Bogie, and Konstantinos Doxiadis to work in Bangladesh. And I really think perhaps we should not abstain from something, doing something similar, because it emancipates a culture. We shouldn't be so, sure that we have nothing to learn from other people. Other people can learn from us as well, but we can learn from them too. Anyway, the College of Arts and Crafts, the Art Institute in Dhaka, it's maybe his architecture is not, sensational. We also have to understand that he worked in one of the poorest countries in the world, but spiritually and culturally not poor at all. Even now, I discover with great pleasure interesting buildings built in Bangladesh with very low budgets. Truly sustainable architecture. What he built is not really a so-called sustainable architecture. He was trying to bring modernity, modernism, orthodox modernism into Bangladesh. The Bangladesh National Archives and Library, you could perhaps speculate that there is some connection between Khan and him, but it's a little bit debatable. Now I only show kind of quickly and chronologically some works, and then we'll look in more detail to some works. Housing, I didn't have pictures for that. National Institute of Public Administration building. Sorry about the resolution of this building. The truth is, this is not an ample presentation. It's really an introduction to the work of an architect who deserves, from me as well, more study. But even if this kind of architecture seems a little bit dated or brutal or simplistic, I don't know. I think the raw architecture in concrete, in the context of a country that didn't know anything almost about modernity, is remarkable. And this kind of building could have been built certainly better kept in Japan. Well, it was not built in Japan, and in Japan maybe you would not have had this glorious wild nature all around the building. And I do think it's glorious. And I think this nature that is not restricted by landscape designers or by architects or by all kinds of gardeners. If we let nature manifest itself or herself more sincerely, so to speak, I think the result might, well, and certainly would benefit us in terms of oxygen, but also in terms of beauty, I would say. I remember once I biked from where I live to the university, and there was a sidewalk where the city hall of Bucharest didn't, take care of the vegetation, and it grew magnificently, beautifully. It was wild and opulent, and it was really a joy. Until one day, of course, the city hall decided to bring everything under control, and it actually ruined it. Anyway. So the building is as it is, but the spirit behind the building is, I think, shows a fresh modernity brought into a context where that modernity was incipient, if at all. Now this is a university master plan and designs, and you will see look at this site plan. It's a master plan. It's not inferior to what Louis Kahn did, at least in intention, at the level of this drawing that we are looking at now. He worked courageously with rotations, with a 45 degrees angle. I think it's a fine master plan, and partially it was built. The National Library. The National Library, a monumental building with its own distinctive aesthetics and power of expression. I don't think this building would bring shame to any architect in the world today as well. So it was built by Islam, the father of modernity, or modern architecture in Bangladesh. After him, we will look at the work of a contemporary architect from Bangladesh, and I think you'll be surprised to see a very high quality and sophistication. And again, this is in a country that had it was described at one point even as the poorest country in the world, but I don't know, these descriptions are problematic. Certainly it was not one of the richest, that's for sure. And isn't it interesting that France and the United States, certainly very powerful countries, economically and so on, didn't commission Louis Kahn and didn't commission Le Corbusier to build for the top institutions, governmental institutions. They didn't. But Bangladesh and India did. So Bangladesh and India has riches in the field of very creative architecture, from Kahn to Le Corbusier, that neither France nor the United States have. This is something to make us think a little bit, because if you are so-called poor economically, you could compensate that so-called poverty with richness in spirit. And I truly think this is an opportunity for everyone. Okay, there is no money. It's fine. I can read a book, no? I can think, I can draw. So it's very possible to emancipate yourself through culture. And for this, you don't really need a lot of money. I mean, you don't need to be rich in order to be able to pick up a pencil and on a piece of paper to draw and to think. So you see, this building, the National Library of Dhaka, of Bangladesh, is a building which maybe, someone pedantic would say, well, look at those bricks, there are all kinds of imperfections. It's not cosmetically taken care of. It's fine. I think brick has dignity. It doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't need makeup. And it's actually assimilated the lesson of modernity. He worked with brick extensively, and I think brick in itself is a noble material. It is earth. And in some parts you might regret it was not very well taken care of, but you see, this wall was built quite finely. Anyway, I actually personally I like these so-called imperfections, the imperfections, because they breathe life, in fact, and not indifference towards the element and towards the passage of time and so on. The Institute of Fine Arts, this building, yes, some might say, well, isn't it deserted or so? No, and it's interesting that it seems to be open. The climate there permits it. It allows it. But the spirit of the building is fresh. This is an interesting university campus. Unfortunately, this one probably is deserted, but I'm not sure. There are spots of darkness, so to speak, on the walls of the building, but otherwise the geometry, the rhythm, the virility almost of the building is intact. It doesn't matter. Look at the drawings. The drawings clearly belong to an architect who was very concerned about the art of construction. These are working drawings done in pencil, probably. I don't know, but they seem to be very coherent and rigorous. And yes, the building seems now almost deserted, but the conception is, I think, yes, especially in this picture, which I know the architect from India, Vatsal, thought that this is almost unacceptable, because this was certainly built by an architect who didn't know how to build. I don't know. I mean, could be also because of the constructor, or I don't know what those dark spots are. Maybe it's mold or something. I don't know. But Khan himself, the master, he For example, at the museum, Kimball Museum also was criticized for all kinds of things relating to function, and also at the Richards Laboratories in Philadelphia. So sometimes very important architects make mistakes because they are interested in more lofty matters like space or even the metaphysics of architecture, and they neglect sometimes they neglect basic functions. It's difficult to keep the same very high level at all us in all the aspects of construction. So it depends what your goal is. If your goal is to just make a correct building, that's fine. But there are architects who have other ambitions, and sometimes, in some respects, they fail. In the sense that, like Charles Baudelaire said in his poem, The Albatross, he said, the poet is like the albatross, the bird. The poet can fly, but he cannot walk. Exactly because of the big wings that the bird has. So the bird and the poet, they can fly, they can have lofty ideals and so on, but they have many times great difficulties to walk, to pay the bills, to pay the rent, to who knows what. So in the same way, sometimes important architects fail at the level of the prose of life. This is another building by Hima University, which I think, I mean, just from this picture, you can see the power of architecture. And I wouldn't say that he's inferior to Kahn here. And I'm comparing him with one of the most important modern architects. So this is in Bangladesh, but not built by Khan, but by Israel. Sorry, by Islam. So, and you see, even if in this picture, it's true, it shows clearly that he was even capable of articulating the bricks very convincingly, and even with ornamental touches, discreet but remarkably fine. To do this sort of thing at the corner requires skill. Skill from the side of the constructors, but also skill from the one who conceived the building. There are sophistication here, and I think he deserves the interest Bangladesh has in him. This building is simple, but is not simplistic, and it does have dignity. Something I think architecture deserves, at least for some programs, or maybe for all programs. But often that dignity is forgotten today. So this is the architect. He studied actually in the United States. He even studied at AA in London. So he was a sophisticated architect. He studied at Yale. He got his master's degree from Yale University. But he returned to his country, and perhaps the audience now is mostly composed of Romanian architects. I wish this will also happen to our country, but in our time, the opposite happens. People study architecture here and then they leave the country. In his case, and in his time, he studied abroad, and then he returned to his country to serve his country and help his country to emancipate itself.